So Donna Rachel, counselor Donna Rachel, she of course posted the original video, and we're going to maybe kind of skip through it. But if you want to go watch it, it started on her Twitter. It's kind of going crazy at the moment. I saw some people reviewing it on Instagram too. Donna Rachel's Edmonds is her name. You can find her. And if you're new, you don't know about any of this stuff. The Grooming Gang Report is an investigation over the past. Well, it's a recent investigation, but it's a collection of data over the past about 40 years, give or take, on the mass uh, rape and trafficking of young boys and young girls. That's basically what it is. So they finally put the report together, and this UK politician named Rupert Lowe kind of led the charge on it, and him and two others, I believe, put this report together, probably more, but they had a council, they listened to the testimonies, they collected the data. Now, this woman, she posted a video of her laughing. I'll just kind of, it's at the very start, so I don't have to go very far, but it's this.
The Rape Gang Inquiry report is out. And I'm going to try not to laugh because it feels mean.
Wow. Yeah, and so that was obviously a very big deal. And I, you know, after looking at her reply, which we'll watch here in a second, it's very obvious that she was upset that that she wasn't able to control the political message around the report. She skip to the end here, and I'll just play it, and you can just kind of hear.
Muslims on the planet. Muslims, you get awful the Muslims are, but in really, really vague terms. Everywhere that there are Muslims, you get these problems. You some idea of how little research these guys have done. They've also put a whole load of stuff in there about the Muslims and how awful the Muslims are, but in really, really vague terms. Everywhere that there are Muslims, you get these problems. Well, there are 2 billion Muslims on the planet. I don't think it's literally everywhere, but anyway.
It is everywhere. However, whatever. But besides the point, she was very upset that she couldn't control the political messaging around the report, even though I don't think that's really what was important. And I'll just play the video. And so this was her response to everyone kind of going at her. But I just want to point out that she's very upset, and it's pretty well, upset is maybe too strong a word. She's unhappy about some of the hate she's received recently.
If you're going to attack somebody for not supporting survivors of grooming gangs, you might not want to pick somebody who literally founded an organisation called The Survivors, which is dedicated to supporting survivors of grooming gangs.
Great start. That's a fantastic point, except she charges the survivors. She charges the survivors, okay? So she immediately just right out the gate with the victim card, just right out the gate. How dare you attack me? I'm the one standing up for the survivors. But in the video, she immediately attacks the report, and if you've seen it, I'm not playing the whole thing again. She targets like very specific mistakes, like very small, specific mistakes, language mistakes. It's a grammar mistake that she harps on, and then she says the focus really needs to be about drugs. She really harps on drugs for some reason. She's like, the drugs are the most important thing. My guess is she didn't like the racial connection that people were putting together, and so she wanted it to, of course, be a focus on the drugs instead, which I don't think the race is really the most important part, but again, I don't like that she sits here and she pretends that it's all about the victims when in reality, if it was, when this report had come out, her take would have been entirely different. She would have been like, yeah, I mean, hey, this report isn't the best, but it draws a lot of attention to an important matter, and here's the differences that I think are also important. By the way, it's the number that they give in the report is 250,000 people that are hurt. She doesn't even dispute the number. She actually says that it is also probably a low count. Insane. Just insane.
That is who I am. I founded it last year. We have two aims: support survivors of grooming gangs, investigate grooming gangs so that we can find out exactly what has happened and how to stop it.
I think you mean drug trafficking. You wouldn't shut the fuck up about drug trafficking. And for context, guys, if you want to know how serious she takes her, you know, what is most important to her, she changed her accounts to look like this. So she got a lot of hate at the start, and she thought it was funny. She was laughing it off. She like this. I think she just likes attention. She changed her profile so that it looked like this. Okay. Um. Yeah. I mean, it just says she changed it to the stereotypical image of like the Wicked Witch of the West or whatever from Wizard of Oz. I don't know. If I say it, unfortunately, I can't get into trouble. And then she even changed her profile picture at another point to her laughing. So she thought she was untouchable, is basically what happened. She was definitely unapologetic here twice. The whole day, she was unapologetic about laughing. She didn't care, right? There she is. And that was until people leaked her, doxed her. She had a lot of, well, she talks about it. But I just want to show there that, you know, she was pretty happy earlier today.
This time last year, I was invited onto Rupert Lowe's rape gang inquiry panel. I attended one meeting. It was shambolic. They did not know what the inquiry was for.
Maybe shambolic means something different in the U.S. version of English. Shambolic means like, a scam, a show, you know, not real. Just because a couple of people who want to do good don't understand how, doesn't mean that it's shambolic. But again, maybe I'm misunderstanding the definition of the word.
Much of the meeting was actually taken up with discussing that. What are they going to do with it? They didn't know.
Yeah, that sounds appropriate for a first meeting when you want to achieve a goal. You get everyone into a room and you say, "How do we achieve the goal?" Yeah, that's very appropriate. I just want you to listen. I know I'm gonna pick this apart real bad. Just watch her ego. Okay, her ego is fucking massive, which is the real reason she's upset. This whole thing for her, all of it, from the survivor counseling stuff to putting her own report on it together, is about filling her ego.
There was no attention given to safeguarding. Myself and Sammy Woodhouse and Nat Enderby Shenston all were very vocal about the need for safeguarding in that meeting. We were dismissed by Alistair Harrison. There was no methodology.
I love that she cares so much about the victims. These three people finally draw international attention to one of the most important things, in her own eyes, right? The most important thing should be the most important thing, and then she just starts attacking them. She's actually, nope, you guys fucking suck. What a fucking mad woman, man. Jeez, I called her a demon a lot. Some people took that I meant that literally. I don't really care how you take it, but I do think it's the most fitting word for her.
There were no terms of reference. You cannot conduct an inquiry without those things because you need to have a question before you can find the answer. They already had their answer and they worked backwards.
Yeah, so she hints at it, but she's very upset that the political messaging from the report isn't what she wants. Which, look, I'm not going to defend Rupert Lowe and the other guys in that they probably have there's some political agenda at play. Okay, however, again, even if that's true, technically you're supposed to be on the same side. Can you not quell your ego so that maybe you can get justice for the people you're supposed to care about more than anything? You can't for a second. You're the only one who can talk about the subject. You're the only one who could try and make change in your country. But again, it's not really about those things. She just didn't like the political messaging around it because it's too racist for her. And that's why she wanted it to be about drugs and anything other than the actual trafficking going on. Human trafficking.
Survivors were actively harmed by this inquiry in two ways. Firstly, directly. So there was one survivor who engaged with it who was traumatized by that experience. In fact, because she was silenced, she wasn't allowed to engage with it.
Oh, what? She was traumatized by the experience of going there, and then because she was silenced, like what? You're being really vague. Most of this video that she posts is kind of vague.
She attempted suicide. Another survivor who tried to give evidence was ignored and not helped. She self-harmed to the point of hospitalization. A third was invited to give testimony before the panel and was then dropped at the very last minute. She believes because she's not white, she's mixed race. She's now in crisis.
Yeah, you notice the emphasis on race. Lots of emphasis on race.
All of that was completely avoidable. So the inquiry has harmed survivors.
There is no way to do an inquiry in which survivors don't get hurt. Not that you shouldn't try your best, but unfortunately, digging up the past, especially trauma like that, is going to end up with people getting hurt. Sucks, but it is also the truth.
The inquiry has also harmed the survivors whose testimonies it has put into its report, because it has put those testimonies alongside claims that cannot be verified.
Yeah, only a fucking retard thinks like that. Only a moron thinks like that. Okay? Pretty much everyone else, other than lefty freaks, liberal psychos, which she's kind of one of them, she just so happens that, this thing is filling her ego so much she's willing to accept the real number, but just, again, not the actual demographics of what's going on. But only a fucking freak, okay, reads those reports, those testimonies, and immediately just goes into denial about it. Understand neutrality, but the report in itself doesn't just contain all of the criminal cases. As a matter of fact, most of them point out the fact that criminally there won't be any evidence. So under your own logic, basically the collection would have boiled down to, I don't know, probably less than 100. I have no idea how many actual cases have been recorded. But you wouldn't. How many of these cases have gone to court? How many of the perpetrators have been found guilty? My guess is probably not nearly enough for it to matter. And so when you boil the report down to what you want, woman, you would have nothing, basically. Yeah, I mean, you would have probably some horrible stories, but it would be like 10. It would not draw attention. It wouldn't be a big deal. Also, it's not misleading in any way. It literally says testimony, and then it's just a bunch of words. So, us as viewers, readers, citizens, people who are pissed can read it and discern for ourselves whether or not we think it's real. By the way, most people know it's real, okay? The majority know damn well that these stories are real, okay? It's just like the Voldemort files, okay? Most of us aren't stupid. It's just you and your party and your politics that are fucking retarded, and all the people around you are retarded. I have no problem sharing these stories with the people around me because I know they would go, wow, that's really horrible and probably true. But notice that she is so fucking corrupted that she immediately thinks that if the information was put out, it would be false. But again, it's because of the politics. It has nothing to do with any of this thing. It's about the politics.
And therefore, it has discredited those testimonies.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't discredited the testimonies at all. As a matter of fact, how a lot of criminal cases get done is a testimony comes first, and then there's investigation. Unfortunately, in your country, nobody gives a fuck. Okay? There's zero loss, actually, for these victims to put their testimonies forward because in your country, they don't do anything about it. That's the point. Over half of those testimonies said that they went to the police, and in one of them, the police sent them back, drove her back to the abuser's house. So how in any way, under your own logic, do you get that testimony out? Do you get that story out? You don't. God, I hate this person so much, man. The logic is just so fucked. It doesn't make any sense. But again, for her, it's just the fucking demographics.
Now, I think that everybody who gave testimony should be applauded for doing so. It's a very brave act.
Then shut up about it.
But it needs to be done in a context in which people can look at the testimony and trust it. Otherwise,
how do you ever have a testimony that everyone's going to trust? You don't. It's called a testimony. This woman, again, with her ego, she thinks she's so much smarter than everybody else. And we saw in the first video, she thinks she's so much more intelligent than everybody else. Only I can put the report together. Only I can take care of the victims. Only I can safeguard the victims. Only I know the political messaging. Somehow she's a reportive journalist who knows all of these things. She knows all about criminal gangs and nobody else does. She knows all about the politics. She knows how everyone on the planet's going to take it. I mean, at this point, I think she's the only one who actually doubts the testimony. Evil woman.
Obvious outcome is that people say, well, how do we know this is true?
People are going to say that no matter what, you fucking retard. And then what you do is you show them evidence. That's how things work. But again, in this case, you don't have evidence because your police are so corrupt they didn't do anything about it. They actually sent the victims back.
And this is already happening to survivors.
Wow.
I've already seen posts online.
Yeah, because of people like you.
250,000 girls doesn't.
I wonder what's the biggest detriment to the files. Is it A, the written testimonies within it that most of these people who doubt it aren't even going to read? Or is it B, the woman who is self-proclaimed champion of the victims laughing at the report? I wonder which one of these things is doing more damage. I don't. It's her. It's her.
It seems very likely. In fact, I think it's more than likely. That in itself is an issue that we don't now know the scale of this because they have muddied those waters.
I don't know what you're talking about. You know the scale. The minimum is 250,000. I mean, how much more do you need to be active? 500? A million? The number's much higher. You said so. How many more people do you need to get hurt before you do something?
That we don't now know the scale of this because they have muddied those waters. And as I say, the survivors who have given testimony are now being disbelieved, which is awful for those girls.
And it's your fault. It's your fault. It's really your fault.
So I laughed at the writers of the report because the writers of the report are contemptible, laughable people. They have actively harmed survivors.
You're the biggest harm to the survivors. It's not even close. It's not even close.
Made a political farce out of survivors' very real suffering.
No, they didn't. It's a very real
thing.
None
of this is.
And again, it's politics. It's the demographics. She disagrees with the political messaging that's rising up because of it. Even though almost all of the testimonies in it say very clearly, who attacked them. But
it's okay. None of it is in any way.
But again, let's just take what she said at face value. She was laughing at the writers. I don't know. If I was working on a massive project in which I'm trying to help 250,000 people get justice for some of the worst crimes imaginable, and 3 people hijacked it, and to be honest with you, it's been successful. It's actually got the message out there. It's drawing a lot of attention. A lot of people are realizing what's going on. So it's a success. But let's just say it's a failure for the sake of her own argument. I don't think I would laugh. I think I would just be really pissed. Just me, though. Maybe because I actually care. And she actually doesn't. It's an ego play for her. It's not a big deal. She doesn't care nearly as much as she makes it out. She just cares that somebody stole her spotlight. Spotlight wasn't on her.
Way acceptable. And frankly, if I had not laughed, I would have gone into a whole slew of very blue language because it's disgusting, it's contemptible. And I was very frustrated, and so I laughed. The outcome of that laugh is that people have gone on to...
She looks like she's about to laugh now, to be honest with you. I think she just likes attention.
That website is purely about supporting survivors of grooming.
The website she's talking about is her website for survivors, where the survivors can go and pay either a small fee or a large fee in order to join her little inside club. That's what the website is. Yeah. And you could also go and donate to it. She's the fucking biggest grifter on the planet.
making sure that we know what the real truth is. They've gone on that website, scrolled past all of that content in order to tell me that they're going to kill me.
Oh, boo-hoo.
That's what Rupert Lowe has unleashed in this country.
How? Are you saying that if the report, that this is happening because the report came out? No. It's happening because the report came out, and then you posted a video where you laughed at it. Nobody would know you existed if you just kept your mouth shut, woman. Nobody would have known anything about you. You were basically a nobody. But you came out and laughed. But again, it's about the politics. It's not really subtle. It's all about the politics. She doesn't like that there's a politician that she doesn't like that has taken the very real tragedy and is is voicing it out loud. She wanted somebody else to do it. Probably wanted it to be her.
To be abundantly clear, I have never asked the Rape Gang Inquiry for money.
She said, "I've never asked the Rape Gang Inquiry for money." Ready? Let's go check that out, guys. Let's see.
That's the story for another day, and it needed a proper what are they called? Terms of reference, okay? And that he needed somebody to create that, preferably with somebody with expertise. Although I said, I have some expertise being a journalist and having written reports. I was happy to do that kind of work, but ideally it needed to be somebody who actually had proper grounding in things like statistical analysis and research methods and all that kind of stuff, right? So I actually wasn't going to do it myself. I was going to find people who do know how to do that thing, but I was going to at least steer it because I know what's kind of meant to be there. Obviously, none of that got done because Alistair Harrison said to me, "We're not going to pay you."
Huh? Wow, that's so interesting. Let me do that again.
To be abundantly clear, I have never asked the Rape Gang Inquiry for money. And I said, okay, but you still need that got done because Alistair Harrison said to me, "We're not going to pay you." And I said, okay, but you.
Okay. So, okay. I don't know. What do I say on that? In your own words. Well, I totally could have done it myself because I'm an investigative journalist and I also know people who are really good at it, but they weren't going to pay me. And then you go on and say that you didn't want to take the job because they weren't going to pay you.
To be abundantly clear, I have never asked the Rape Gang Inquiry for money.
Yeah, okay, but they weren't going to pay you, so you didn't take it.
Got done because...
Again, semantics. It's a semantics argument, which she did in the last video.
Alistair Harrison said to me, "We're not going to pay you." And
look how smug she is. What an evil woman, dude.
What actually happened was that when I saw that they were not doing the job properly, I offered to step in and do the job.
When you saw that they weren't doing the job properly, so after the one meeting you went to and you immediately thought was shambolics, you immediately knew they weren't doing the job properly, and now you're this hero who's going to step in.
Now, do we imagine that Charlie Downs does not get paid for his work? Sammy Woodhouse absolutely gets paid for her work, and rightly so. If people work, they ought to get paid for it. So I was not asking for money. I was not asking for anything for the survivors, my organisation. What I was saying...
Nobody's saying that you did for your organization. People are saying you asked for money, which you did.
And I said,
literally, sorry.
Obviously, none of that got done because Alistair Harrison said to me, "We're not going to pay you."
Right, okay.
Was that
sure.
I have a team of experts and we are happy to step...
Right, again, with the ego. Guys, I'm the expert. I have a team of experts, and her and her team of experts didn't want to talk about the demographics. They wanted to talk about the, quote, drug trafficking. Here's the ideology of people like her, which maybe you think they're correct or not. They believe that if the grooming gangs, the criminals, weren't poor, and if the women, the little girls who abused weren't poor, then this would never happen. However, this argument immediately falls apart when you find out how much money the gang members make. They actually get a shit ton of money from the government itself. Again, I said this last episode, I talk about him a lot. Kurt Kaz went to the UK. There's a native there, I can't remember his name, he was giving him a tour. They're walking around the town center, and all of these little shops, they're selling phones, merchandise, whatever. They're all owned by these gang members, basically. And none of them are actually busy, but they get a lot of money from the government. They're not poor. And it has nothing to do with drugs. I mean, drugs are really popular where they come from. They chew this, fucking tobacco plant or some shit that gets them high. I can't remember what it's called. But it's cultural. It's just cultural. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just what it is, man. And I said in the last video that if you took drugs from the picture, would it still happen? And it would still happen. You could give them all the money in the world to both, and it would still happen. There were little girls in that report who were from pretty high off families in which it still happened. Okay, and again, those gang members make plenty of money. It would still happen. But she wants to center the narrative around anything other than the fact of demographics, which I don't know. Again, it doesn't really matter, but the fact that she was willing to put a fucking pin on the entire report just because of it is extremely interesting and kind of shows what she truly cares about.
Step in and do the job. That I have a team of experts, and we are happy to.
Yeah, I mean, so basically, she wanted to control the project. She didn't want any. She wanted her name on it. She wants all the glory. Only she knows how it should be done. Only she knows how it can be done. And when they said no, we're gonna do it this way, she just kind of said, "Go fuck yourself." And then the report came out. I'm telling you, she was waiting for it to drop. I mean, she fucking jumped on it pretty quick. She saw it came out, immediately read the first paragraph, and then made the video. I don't even think she read the rest.
To step in and do the job. The job needed doing. It didn't need to be us. Could have been absolutely anybody. But it needed.
But you really wanted it to be you.
Who actually knew what they were doing. Who was an expert in the field. Who was qualified. None of this is in any way controversial.
By the way, by qualified and pro or whatever she's talking about, she means investigative journalism. That's what she's talking about, by the way. That's what she's talking about.
If you're dealing with an extremely serious topic, which we absolutely are, you want the best people on the job. I was willing to go out and find those people for them.
Yeah, what an ego you have. They need the best people. I know where those people are, and only I know. Fucking go next in Minecraft, you evil woman. You're a monster.
I was not saying that I myself...
Don't worry, it's not over.
...would write the report.
You did. You literally said you would. Hold on, let's go back again.
Obviously none of that got theory, because I actually wasn't going to do it myself. I was going to find people who do know how to do that thing. But I was going to at least steer it, because I know what's kind of meant to...
Yeah, I was going to at least steer it. I should be the captain. Fuck you, piece of shit. Here we go. Now we get to the good stuff.
I think the fact that the mob that has come for me is extremely anti-Semitic.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, immediately play the victim. That's what I'm talking about. Could have went with anything, but yeah, we're gonna run with that. Yeah, I I don't know what to even say to it.
Telling. None of any of this topic has anything to do with me being Jewish.
No, but you were quite proud of it. I mean, you're making sure to let us know now. You made sure to let us know like 3 times in your profile. I mean, you were pretty well aware of what you were doing. I'm not saying people should have made it important, but you sure as hell did. It's the first thing in your profile.
I just happen to be Jewish.
Isn't that crazy?
I have had a slew of anti-Semitic abuse in the last 36 hours.
She loves the attention, man. Look at her smile.
Some of it quite graphic and violent. A lot of
Boo-hoo.
references to ovens and gas.
Wow, it's so awful they reference ovens and gas. Look, she's smiling. She loves it. She just loves the attention.
What Rupert Lowe has unleashed on this country.
Do you think Rupert Lowe is like the new you-know-who, Mr. German Chancellor? Like, what? Again, it's funny. She's twisting what's happening to her. She loves it. She twists it to try and politically attack Rupert Lowe. That's what this whole thing is about. First, it's I'm the victim, and I'm the hero, and I want to attack Rupert Lowe. That's the whole thing. That's what it's all about.
In the form of Restore the Party, which...
okay. She's outright with the politics about it. Sorry, I should have waited.
Very clear. Has taken survivors' testimonies and used them as a political vehicle is extremely dangerous.
No, not really. I mean, 250,000 hurt people wouldn't have happened if you closed your borders. But you're going to probably say that it was drugs or socioeconomic, because that's what
he has completely polarized the discourse. The people who support him are a mob, frankly.
Good.
Some of them speak very violently, as
Yep,
in they
good.
threaten violence.
I mean, they should do more, to be honest with you. Violence, unfortunately, is usually only stopped by more violence. That's just how history works. That's how life works. And unfortunately, right now for you guys, there's a lot of violence in your country against little girls. So yeah, I think violence is warranted. I don't. I still don't. Here's the most amazing part: anyone who's been or has been hurt in the way that those people have, anyone who's been close to somebody who is hurt or was hurt in the way that those victims have, I like violence is probably the very first thought. So yeah, I mean, I think it's warranted, especially against these people who are running around in the streets with no soul, basically, no remorse, no guilt. They don't care. They do it again. They get out in fucking few months. They do it again and again and again. That's why the number is so high.
I'm hearing that in Makerfield they are being quite abusive to people there.
What kinds of people? Who?
None of this is okay.
More
None
victims?
of it is good for our country.
I don't think so.
None of this is how we get out of this mess.
Yeah, I mean, this is so. If you're English, you're probably used to this. This is how they frame everything. There's always a tragedy, and the first thing that they say is they go, "It's not about race." That's the very first thing they say. Very first thing. And when there's a protest or something, they really the punishment is always much harsher than the crime that started the protest every single time.
And I would really implore people to look very closely at Rupert Lowe, Alistair Harrison, Charlie Downs, and Harrison Pitt, and ask themselves if these people are really the people that they want to save this country. They're not.
I agree. You should
They
ask
don't care
yourself
about
that.
survivors.
You should if you ask yourself
don't
if
care
you
about
want
women.
to save your
They
country.
don't care about girls.
They just care about it more than you, really. Like in essence, that's what it boils down to. Is maybe they don't, but they still care more than you. They still, in fact, care more than you, because to be honest, if you flip the roles here, and if that report, she had made the report and it had come out, I bet you the other three wouldn't have torn it down. They would have been like, look, I think the part that is missing is the demographics. I don't think they would have torn it down at all. They would have been much kinder. That's kind of the reality of the situation. Is maybe they don't care, but they care more than you.
About using survivors in
Which
order
is
to get ahead.
sad that all
and
of
yeah,
the
I'm
parliament
going to laugh
doesn't
at
care.
them
But
for that because it's disgusting, contemptible, and laughable.
yeah, the only thing in truth is that you were those things. Yeah. The irony is that I was supposed to be going to Liverpool today to set up a support group for grooming gang survivors, but had to cancel to spend the day on the phone to the police.
If
Like, yeah, because you love it. You love the attention. It's the poor me mentality. Poor me, poor me. I'm the hero who's willing to stand up for the survivors unless they tell me they're gonna put me in an oven, and then you give up. I know it's fine. Nobody's buying your fucking beta cuck routine, man. Nobody's into it. It's not fun. Oh god. All right, so that's the video. That was much easier than I thought it would be to get through. Again, as you can tell, evil ass woman.